Welcome to Tokyo. I know that a lot of you have heard about a quote-unquote matcha shortage that we have here in Japan. And it's hard for me to feel it because I was just at the supermarket about 30 seconds ago, and I went inside. Well, actually, this is 7-Eleven, and I saw that there's just a ton of matcha products here. Some of it matcha chocolate, matcha teas, matcha, all sorts of stuff, cakes, melon, bakery items, ice cream. I don't see any shortages here. We don't feel it in Japan. In this episode, I kind of want to go over some of the reasons why, what's going on with that, and is the shortage over? Because maybe it is for now. But you can see here the almonds and the macadamia nuts. I love those. Macadamia nuts a little bit more than that. Those are about 324 yen. That's about what it is every year. It's usually about 100 yen more than the normal chocolate there. I think they infuse it with the matcha powder with the white chocolate. It's good stuff, you know. And I went into, that was at 7-Eleven, and I went into the Family Mart, and they have every year the Uji matcha melon pan. And we'll open this up and try this too. It's really good. I see Caroline is here, lover of Uji as well. And I want to talk about that too. And she might know a little bit more about this than I do. But the shortage is actually it happened about 2 years ago. And when Japan reopened, TikTok, Instagram, social media, a lot of influencers started to show the matcha products. And it started to take off worldwide as a healthy alternative to coffee, but it's more than that. It's got a really interesting flavor. It's got a bitterness, but if you put it in confections, it's a sweet bitterness. I don't know, it's hard to explain unless you drink a lot of it. I didn't really eat it in a lot of confections. However, this time of year in May, the end of April, this is after the first flush, the harvest. So any shortage that there was of matcha will be replenished because they're harvesting and making it now. One of the reasons for the shortage is because matcha is seasonal. It's not something that you can harvest 365 days out of the year. They have a surplus of this and they run out of it, I guess, around the winter or around January and February, which you don't see a lot of matcha confections. This time of year, it's everywhere. You see green, green, green. But yeah, I can't really notice a shortage, but I do notice something else. Inside of the 7-Eleven, they had a lot of alternative green stuff. And I'm talking about like edamame crackers. Edamame season is a little bit later on, but they had edamame crackers, but it's green, so it kind of makes you think of matcha. This is the time you'd see a lot of green stuff on this store. Pistachio is another flavor that there's been a lot of in the Japanese supermarkets and the stores. The 7-Eleven had pistachio flavored cookies. They were green. I thought it was matcha, but it wasn't. It was pistachio. I didn't know there was an overwhelming amount of pistachio around, but apparently there is. Also, you'll see yomugi, which is mugwort. If you remember in Nara, there's the guy with the very fast hands making the mochi. He's using mugwort. That's not matcha. That's mugwort, which is yomugi, and it's also green. It's also kind of bitter. It doesn't taste like matcha. A lot of people mistake it for matcha because it's green, but you'll see that also. I saw there's a lot of mugwort confections coming up because everybody seems to love the green. So that's one way that they're maybe getting around the shortage. But again, I don't see a big change in the price. This melon pan was 168 yen, 156 plus tax. So that's what it was last year. Maybe they're using less of it, but I can't really tell. I want to explain this a little bit more to you. If you're interested to learn more about matcha, I actually have a video coming out on this probably in the next couple of months, but I started this with a Japanese green tea farm to factory a couple of years ago. This video did not do very well, so I kind of pulled back on the matcha version of it. So I'll get back into it maybe during this season coming up, because it seems like it's over. And I released a video just a couple of months ago on Nishio. Nishio is the alternative to Uji. Uji is one of many places where matcha is grown in Japan. Shizuoka and Kagoshima, Aichi, which is Nishio, also another one. And I show you in that video the matcha fields of Nishio, which inside of Japan, is just as famous as Uji. Nishio matcha is quite well known in Japan. I didn't even know about it. I lived in a town right next to Nishio, and I didn't know that Nishio was such a big matcha place. But within Japan, you'll go into the convenience store and you'll see Uji matcha products and you'll see Nishio matcha products right next to it. So that's another thing. I think part of that shortage is a result of Uji in Kyoto being so popular as a brand. It is the one that everybody wants abroad. And so worldwide, there's certainly going to be a shortage. Japan, it seems like they're basically taking half of the matcha and they're sending that abroad now, and half of it they're keeping here. But there's other issues with it. So I asked my friend here, let me see if I could pull this up. ChatGPT, well, it gives us a good, I can confirm or deny by asking it. So it's nice to ask these questions to get an answer. But I could talk about it. So it's more than just searching on this AI stuff here. Yeah, there is a significant matcha shortage. It's a surge in global demand. So we don't feel it so much in Japan, actually. It's more like internationally. So that's one thing I think you need to realize. If you go to this Starbucks, you'll still be able to get the matcha tea latte. You'll be able to get some of the stuff. The ceremonial grade matcha, that's sort of an issue. That's something that's very highly prized and very high priced confections and foods, and 5-star Michelin-starred restaurants might use that matcha, that ceremonial grade, to make their desserts. And you do taste a difference in it, but that like 5% better translates in like a 100% more price. It's like it's much higher for that 5% maybe difference in taste, but you're paying for the details. You're getting the best of the best. But I can't really tell much of a difference between Nishio and Uji matcha, for example. And I sent my Patreon supporters Uji matcha chocolate and Nishio matcha chocolate in the form of some cookies, and I didn't hear anybody who could tell the difference. But the global surge, again, they're blaming social media. I know in Europe, US, Australia, and other places, it's been booming to get matcha stuff. The thing is, you got to check the label, because I think in this we'll look at some of the competitors, which are India, China, even Indonesia, and Taiwan and Korea have increasing matcha production. But of course, the gold standard, or the green standard, I guess, would be Japan. Now, Japan cannot produce a lot of matcha. There's a limited amount. So I didn't know about this until recently, but there's a lot of subsidies that are going to green tea farmers to produce more matcha, which is tencha. So the sencha, which is the one that is being harvested most of the country, Shizuoka, a lot of sencha, Kagoshima as well. The government is trying to get them to switch over to produce more tencha, which is the one that's covered. It allows you to make matcha a little bit more. Let me see if I get some images of it here. This is from the video. You can see the black tarps. The tarps are open now, but you can cover this, and covering it makes it grow slower and makes it sweeter. So there's a reason behind the covering of it, but matcha, the tencha is covered. You can see there's the green tarps. This is from the Nishio video released a couple of months ago. So this is how there's a ton of these as well. So it's a very labor-intensive thing. You're constantly opening and closing it depending on the time, the weather. If it's going to be too sunny or too hot and drought, they're going to probably close it to make sure that the matcha doesn't dry out. But the tencha leaves don't dry out. But there's a very intensive process. So when I look back at the question I asked you, I can get to the middle of this again here. There's just, from 53,000, in the year 2000, there were 53,000 farmers. And now there's about 12,000 in 2020, and probably less than that, probably closer to like 10,000 or maybe less than that. So there's 20% of the amount of farmers as we had 25 years ago, and the demand globally has gone up exponentially. So the storage, now you can store matcha for quite a long time apparently. Same with rice, it's a dry good, but like all things, there is an expiration date on it, but there is a surplus of matcha, so that, that's also going to be able to be sent abroad. there's always something of it, but apparently they reached their limits last year, which is why this global shortage is getting a lot of news. The subsidies, the incentives are out there for people to produce more. There's also limits on how much people can buy, but there are some old contracts. When they expire, they get renewed and they're renegotiated. So the prices could still come up. It might just have to do with old contracts as well. Let me see here. So, and they're talking about other alternative sources. Sometimes they'll make, and I'm seeing it, I'm gonna pause this for a second. I'm seeing in a lot of confections in Japan, possibly because of the shortage, I'm not sure yet, but they're making this matcha tea latte flavor. It's the tea latte flavor is a way for them to say, hey, you know what? We're gonna use half the amount of matcha powder and we're gonna add in, hey, pigeon! I have to do this because it's public safety. You get off the road. All right, thank you. I was really worried. Bro, it's not safe to be out there on the street. Maybe give him some of this matcha meronpan. Leo makes sure that he does it too, so we make sure the safety of the pigeons on our streets. We've seen a couple of them that didn't make it. All right, stick around here. It might be worth your while. I think I know that one. Anyways, so now that the harvest is here, thank goodness, Golden Week, this is when they really start to harvest it, and we get these beautiful sunny blue skies right now. They're going to start to process. It moves very quickly. I'd say within the harvest to the powder to the stores to the distribution centers, you get it out there in like 5 days. So we're going to see the shortage is over for now, but that doesn't mean that the demand is gone. However, this stuff is like a trend, and I don't know how trendy matcha is going to be and how long this trend is going to be. But for people like Caroline and me, this is no trend for us. And I know Caroline likes good, very good matcha. She's, I shouldn't tell too many of the secrets, but staying in Uji is one way to get really close to this culture, and it's really cool to do. This is a great time to be in Japan if you're a tea lover, because they're harvesting it and you can smell it in the air. It almost smells like it smells like actually car exhaust where I am, but when I remember back from Shizuoka, it smells like freshly cut grass, but sweeter, if that's even possible. Everybody loves freshly cut grass, but the tea harvest is a lot of fun. They used to do it by picking it, but now they do it with machines like these special clippers, which are really cool to see. So the global demand is really outside of Japan, and you really feel the shortages, but domestically, they keep half of it here. The confection makers are doing great, so there's a lot of demand to buy the confections with the matcha in it. I don't see any shortages, and I have not seen any massive price increases on it yet. But we will see. And now that the matcha is starting to come in here, we're not going to have any issues, at least for another 6 months. And there's who knows what TikTokers and Instagrammers are going to be doing until then. So yeah, I kept on asking the questions to ChatGPT. Sometimes you get the same answers. Maybe I got to use the updated version of it. But yeah, matcha prices have been rising. But again, as I said, like the matcha tea latte, matcha latte flavored goods are increasing where they can mix it up. It's just a way for them to keep the price high, but maintain that matcha in the products. So it's not a bad thing. You can still taste it, but I don't know. I'm not a matcha latte guy, but apparently foreigners seem to like that more than the matcha. So I had an argument with the ChatGPT. Like, I'm saying, look, dude, I just went to the 7-Eleven. The prices aren't any different. What's up with that? And you know, it says, you are correct in observing the matcha flavored products such as lattes, sweets, and snacks remain widely available across Japan, blah, blah, blah. Use of lower grade matcha, existing stockpiles, adoption by business. This is all really good stuff, but the real shortage is the high grade matcha powder, and that is a problem. So just because it says Uji doesn't mean that you're getting the best of the best stuff, but the ceremonial grade stuff, absolutely, it's like gold, right? But we're seeing more farmers, there's less of them, but more farmers are changing their business plan to grow that matcha. And Japan is coping with it, especially with the domestic products. We were just in Osaka, where it's very close to Uji, and I could tell at the Don Quixote and Shin Osaka station, where the Shinkansen is, the products that are there were all very much still there, and the prices were pretty much the same. I did not see any difference in matcha prices, but I didn't taste the flavor of it to tell whether or not there was a downgrade in the quality. But I take it all with a grain of salt. I do encourage you to check out the video that I made on green tea here. It'll give you an idea about this industry. There they are. They're harvesting it right there with those mowers. It takes 2 people to run those too. So I go into how they steam it and make the green tea, which is great. And I'm really looking forward to doing the matcha episode and getting that in the next couple of months. And that was part 2. I've already filmed the factory where they make the matcha and some of the confections, but I'm going to dig deeper and eat deeper. But I was a lot bigger back then too. And you can see the green coverings there. You saw that? They're growing up on the top there. They're growing the matcha underneath the tarps. So very interesting. All right, let's dig into this here. Whoa. This is a melon pan. Let me show you a couple of the other stuff here. I sent this to my Daimyo supporters on Patreon. So this is matcha, and it says here I believe these Alfred, it says here it's Uji matcha. So again, like there's no shortage in matcha products. You can get them all over the place. This is at convenience stores and supermarkets. And I found this too. These are also quite nice. I sent these to the Daimyo supporters. These are matcha cream daifuku. Daimyo, when I say Daimyo supporters, I'm talking about I send packages to some Patreon supporters. This is from Nishio. You see Nishio? So Nishio means it's all domestic matcha. So this is quite nice. So I sent those to people. Again, the prices were nothing overly expensive. And this melon pan usually like 110 yen. So it's just like I don't know, 20, 30 yen more for the matcha, maybe? No, there's no sakura, Michael. Not in Tokyo. There's sakura up in Hokkaido. They're probably blooming in Hakodate about now. But yeah, it's like that's why I said, they say, I want to catch a cherry blossom. Like, where are you going to be? They move fast. Oh, wow. All right, does it pass the smell test and the cream test? So you're very welcome. Thank you. All right. Yeah, you could smell the matcha. It smells like sweet grass. Like I used to be a landscape. Every kid to get through high school, usually we were a quote unquote landscaper, especially in the '90s. Late 90s, middle 90s, I put myself through partially funded college with landscaping and stuff, factory working. All right, so let me, I gotta open this up to see if, oh wow, okay. So it looks like there's some matcha gel in there too. So we'll see how this shapes up. Oh, I love it when they put the cream in the melon pan. So did they keep the price the same but skimp on the matcha? I can't tell. That tastes the same. Maybe they're making matcha extract. I don't know. But if they're using lower quality matcha, I can't tell. Maybe it's not as robust of a, usually there's a bitterness to matcha. I don't get as much of the bitterness. I'm certainly getting the sweet. I can tell that they're using like a milk powder in with the matcha tea latte, which is in abundance, that matcha latte flavor. I mean, it's not a bad thing, but you can definitely tell that the matcha tea latte flavor is to dilute the matcha to save some money. But the sencha and the tea, the deep roasted green tea, certainly there's no shortage of that in the vending machine, so you're gonna be able to get that all over the place. I hope that helps you out. My advice to you though, I haven't been to Uji in a while, but just keep in mind the ceremonial, the highest grade of matcha is really in shortage. But in general, Kagoshima and Shizuoka produce a lot of matcha. Right now, there's gonna be an abundance of matcha, so don't overpay for something. Just keep in mind that it's taking place right now, and there should be a lot of matcha on the domestic market in Japan, so don't get ripped off buying matcha because of this talk of shortage. There is a shortage, but it's ceremonial grade only. For most other matcha, you can probably find it, because, hey, I just had a melonpan for like $1. It tasted pretty good. Don't get ripped off buying the matcha powder in Uji. There's an abundance of it. Yeah. And by the way, they do 3 flushes. So the tea leaves keep growing. So they harvest it like once every, maybe, I think there's 3 or 4 flushes. Flush meaning a harvest of it. So it's not like they're not producing a lot of matcha, okay? It's just there aren't as many of them, and the process has changed a little bit over the years. Michael Sassano, it's like nice to see. I love matcha flavored goodies. Spend this on more matcha deliciousness. Yeah, you know I will. I'll see if I can go down to Uji, get down to matcha, and then get some video from some of the sweets there. Actually, Caroline, maybe I should contact you and ask you some questions about this. I think you're watching as well to learn more about the matcha world. But it's an interesting development, a news story. But I think we all kind of know about the media and how they narrate, they sculpt a narrative for a story, and how we should always be skeptical of what they tell us, because it's either going to be the worst and not the best situation to kind of make us watch to the end. So I did go into a matcha factory where they grind it and they process it, but you can also do it by hand. But for concoction, they bring it in and they do it in quantity, and it's all done by machines, industrial machines, and it's like a powder keg in there. There's a lot of green dust all over the place. It's like green dusty gold. I am going to Tsuen Tea in Uji. Caroline, don't tell everybody where you're going. Don't tell them all of your secrets. Let's keep the place quiet and to ourselves. 25 minutes south of Kyoto. You're giving it all away, Caroline. And thanks for upgrading to the postcard club. I appreciate it. One last note. I guess I could say this because it's the day before, but I want to say thank you to. Was I able to bring it in here? Thank you to the postcard club members. We're one short. I just sent them out because I got a bunch of new postcard club member signups while I was in Osaka. I want to go back to Osaka and send the May postcards at the expo. So I said I need 25 new members. We got 24. I just sent 15 new members. I just said 14, was like 13 or 14 cards right there. So those are off to you, and there's one more remaining. I think we're gonna get it. So, and then after that, I'd appreciate it if you want to get it. Make sure you sign up before the 9th of May. But I will take your postcard of the expo and send it from the expo, so, with a stamp of the expo. I got a bunch of Expo 2025 stamps, so it's going to have that on there. This was April's cards for those that signed up in April. The May cards, they're going out in May, but I will send it to you from Osaka. We get one more postcard club member, and we're like this close. We had a new member from Hong Kong. We had a new member from Luxembourg, which is awesome. We had a new member. We had upgrades from somebody in California. It was right here. We had a couple of upgrades from Hawaii, which is amazing. We got so many viewers in Hawaii. One from Singapore, Malaysia. We had somebody from Chile, which is awesome. So we got viewers all over the world. I send the postcards to about 40 countries, which is so cool, including Nico in Greenland, which is awesome. We got a viewer in Greenland, if you believe it or not. It's pretty awesome sending it there. It always freaks out the post office when they see Greenland on it. They have to check to see, do you deliver in Greenland? Oh, yes, we do. Okay, there you go. So that's really cool. All right, everybody, take care. I hope this. How do I get a postcard? Writes in Michael. It's on Patreon, and I'll put a link right in the. I'm glad that you asked about it. I'll put a link right in the comment section right after this video, so you can go and do it. But Iruka just joined, so I guess we've hit our goal. Thank you. That's awesome. All right, I guess I'm going to Osaka soon. I'm going back to where I was to send the postcards. Thanks, guys, for the support there. I'll see you in another live stream tomorrow. We'll talk about something else. But take care, and shortage no more, at least for now. Mata ne.